Hello. As Jake presented us, so we are Nina and Jaka from Slovenia, from the company called Switch to 11. And today we are going to present you how we made a transformation of a marketing agency. There were like two agencies merging together and how we basically created a very customer-centric organization. But before I start, I would just like to present a little bit more in depth what we do and who we are. So as Jake mentioned, Nina is a psychologist. Also, it's some clinical expert. She's a Miro really good expert. Last week she held a live workshop with 150 people, so she's really good at that. And also a Semco style expert. I don't know if you know with new ways of working, and if you know Semco from Ricardo Semler, she's also a Semco style expert. Me, myself, I crossed paths with Agile in 2015. Zuzi was in our country making basically the Scrum Mastering course. I was there and I was always talking that I'm going to introduce Agile to marketing because I know that in IT, it was developed in IT, but I think that there's a lot of things that can be beneficial also in marketing, and I was working that from 2015 on. I'm also a new ways of working expert from Corporate Rebels. I don't know if you're familiar with them. And we are combining those two things together. So both Corporate Rebels approach and basically the Semco style approach and using Agile within the company. So we are going to explain you a little bit in this presentation, okay? So we are going to start with the statements that we heard today, and also we heard it all the time, and basically that Agile doesn't work. We see this as, let's say, something that is, yep, you can go here. No problem. So we can hear it, and also we can state it ourselves when we are frustrated with the process, when we see that things are not going. So when we are talking between ourselves, so Agile enthusiasts, we tend to sometimes have this kind of, let's say, thoughts. And I'm going to back this up. Definitely, Agile doesn't work when we want to put it in a structured, siloed organization. So when we are trying to put an Agile team within a siloed organization, we always have problems. And those problems can manifest with this, let's say, communication, disconnect, definitely with slow decision-making process, with lack of flexibility, ownership, lack of trust. Because there's always someone above us that decides that's in the room when it happens, right? And the major problem is that we need to somehow change the whole thing, right? So when we experience something like this, we tend to say that it's a problem of people, that there is not the right mindset, that there are people not mature enough, they're, I don't know, playing like childs, everything needs to be explained, that they need rules and stuff like that. And we don't agree with that. We think it's a situational problem, not the people's problem. And it's a situational problem that is done because of the system, not because of the people. And I'm going to back this up. But when we are talking about the situational problem, right, not the people's problem, what we get out as a consequence, as a consequence definitely, is disengaged employees. I know that was already mentioned here, so the Gallup, we have like 18%, every year they do the survey, 18% of people are disengaged, 67 or something are in the middle, right, and then we have like 13, 14% of people who are actively disengaged on the verge of being the people who are sabotaging the whole process, right? So we have like, if you look at a little bit in a political way, we see it like in any country. We have like right wing, the left wing, and in the middle, and then who is doing the most of the, I don't know, the campaigning and everything, the majority is leaning toward, and then that means that the project is going to be successful or not. So what we need to do in order to change this, we need to change the system, okay? Now we are talking a lot about that. We are going to explain and show you the canvases, how we do that. But before that, I would like to just bring you to one thing. Aaron Dignan has his book, Brave New Work. I don't know if you read it. And he did a very great comparison of two different systems and of a person being present and actively present in these two systems, right? So we all drive cars, right? We do? Yeah. Okay. So when we are coming to a crossroad, when we're trying to cross two paths, right, what we have traffic lights, right? So we need to wait. If we are coming to the red light, we need to wait. So this is a system with no autonomy. You can be Albert Einstein, you can be whoever you want to be, 3 a.m., middle of the night, the streets are empty, you need to wait. right? Otherwise, you're going to get fined. In some countries, they're going to take your car away. Something bad is going to happen to you, right? So what's happening with us when we are waiting on a red light? In a majority of the time, we take out our phones and we start to look at messages, as Instagram or WhatsApp messages or emails. So we are disengaged in this kind of process. That's what's happening also in our companies, right? So oftentimes it happens that the person that's behind our back is alerting us, hey, you have a green light, come on, drive. What happened with the same person driving a car in this system? In this system, we have the autonomy. You don't take your phone out. You have the autonomy, you understand that you can drive, and there's, in numbers, I can back it up. So in numbers, you have 70% less collisions in a roundabout. You have 85% less of traffic jams in the roundabout, and you have no maintenance in a roundabout, because in a traffic lights, you need to have electricity, you need to have engineers that are making algorithms regarding all the traffic reports and stuff like that. Okay? So what do we mean by that? It's basically we need to change the system, and I'm going to just deep dive a little bit, and then I'm going to take Nina to take you to the whole trajectory that we did with the company. So basically, how go from this? So basically, the system should go that way. We need to become customer-centric, okay? I'm pretty sure that you heard about Hire and about the Randa-Hay model. I'm pretty sure that you heard about Sociocracy, Holacracy, different systems. So all of the systems are leaning toward the customers. So right now you have cross-functional teams that are customer-facing and cross-functional teams that are supporting the customer-facing teams, right? So how we upgrade this? So we have cross-functional teams right now that are basically with job titles, right? You have a customer-facing team with sales, social media, combining with marketing and content, growth hacking, and lead generation person, right? But what we need to do, because the main problem that we are facing in a 5-year time is going to be we need to employ Gen Z, okay? Yeah. Gen Z doesn't like bosses. Gen Z doesn't like nothing about that we know from the siloed organization, right? So we need to work on how we are going to bring the dopamine out of them so they are going to be engaged and interested in what we are doing, right? So job titles, get rid of them. We need to go to role-based leadership. And what I mean by that is what we need to do is basically we go from the siloed organization to the customer-centric organization, and then we need, with a team, develop which kind of roles do we need in order to successfully create what we need to do for the client, and then people need to pick up the roles that they want to work. So they can do that, for this client, they can be in 3 different roles. For a different client, they can be in totally 3 different roles or in 2 roles, right? So you're not hiring them for the job description that you're putting. You're hiring them right now for the job that they need to provide within the role that is described, what we need to deliver to the client. Okay? So how the canvas of organization looks like? The canvas looks like this. So here you can see is basically we tend to say that it's a software and hardware thing, and definitely the roles and responsibilities. What we're talking about here is basically how in the center you can see, and Nina is going to deep dive in that. In the center you can see our customer, and of course you can see basically customer being also the company, and the customer being also the employees of the company. We need to treat them like customers within the company. And then we have like client-facing teams, supporting teams, and then you can see the teams that are basically for the operations of the company. On the right side, you can see basically business rhythm, because it's really important. Meetings are killing us. Then information flow. Information can be also power, not only who is in the hierarchy, basically who has the most information flow and goes through him, he has the more power in the company. And then we have the reward system. The reward system should be so the person can set the salary himself regarding on how much effort he's going to put in, right? And then on this part, we have like roles and responsibilities. Here we use sometimes the competence metrics from Management 3.0. I don't know if you know that. And then the decision-making process. So now I'm going to just give you a brief presentation about the case, and then Nina is going to deep dive on that. So we had like a year and a half ago, like at the beginning of last year, there were two agencies merging together, right? They have like a combined revenue of 800,000 euros per year. That was it. 22 people, mostly Gen Z. And they came to us and they said to us, okay, we need to structure us in a different way because we are a classical agency working offline things, events and stuff like that. This is a digital agency and they're like on steroids and we don't understand them and it's really a problem. And we said, okay, we're going to somehow merge you guys together. And we started to work with them. This was their canvas that I showed you, and Nina is going to show it again. And after a year and a half, right now, the revenue jumped for nearly 400% to 3.5 million with the same amount of people. So they didn't scale in any person regarding the money. So it's on the same amount of people, 22 to 25 people, to 3.5 million. Okay? So now I'm going to give it to Nina, and Nina, she's going to present you the whole, how we structure the whole thing and the principles. There you go.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, a round of applause. So yeah, this is a client that we are very fond of. I know that this is not very professional to being fond of a client, but we can't help it because we're humans. So we connect with other people and we care about our clients. And that's why before we start with any reorganization, we talk with the leaders about the principles, the guiding principles that we use when we are redesigning the organization. And yes, I know that some of them are familiar to you. For example, some are, of course, are agile. But we start talking with them about trust, courage, respect, results, and accountability. So we don't talk about commitment. We talk more about accountability, but you can say it's the same thing. It's maybe a matter of perspective. So first is trust. We want to treat people, adults, as adults, which means that basically we believe that people are good, that they're motivated, that they are engaged, that they are responsible, that they want to matter. So we have to do the system so that it enables them, not hinders them. The second one is courage. Taking this kind of leaps of faith, actually, you know, going into a totally different system that we are used of, it takes a lot of guts. It's scary. We can be afraid. That's why we have to be respectful of other people. So some people will resist the change. And it's okay, because we lose different things when we go into this type of reorganization, or we like to call it transformation. And of course, results and accountability. No, money is not the result. Money is the consequence if you do things right. And we focused on happy customers, having partnerships with them, making us as a valuable partner that makes them, you know, what they need, whatever they need. And when I say customers, I don't think just our clients, I think about our employees as well. Oh, hello. Okay, so this is the canvas that you saw before. We started this transformation actually with one pilot. One cross-functional team started to work with their major client, the best client that they had, and not for a full time, because they were afraid. What does that mean? We don't know how to do that and that. And we say, let's try it. Let's experiment it. Let's say this is something that we will have fun. We'll try something new. And when you are talking to a Gen Zs, you know, they want that. They want to try something new because work is boring. And we did that. So no more, after a while, of course, we scale it. After this one client, we added more clients. And now the whole agency is working full-time in this matter. From design departments, from project management departments, and all other silos, we went into 3 customer-facing teams. They are called the Ninjas. They picked their name. They even have their own webpage, even though they're part of Ball Group. Then we have the ASAP team and the Inspo team. And they're very, very interconnected with each other also. So, for example, I can be a member of the Ninjas, and there my role is being a facilitator and a growth marketer. But I'm also part of the people team, and I help with talent acquisition. And I'm also part of ASAP team, where I can help with copy, if I want that. And that's important. And what's important also is that cross-functionality is not enough. They have to be autonomous as much as possible. So no decision-making outside of the team. As much decisions as they can be made individually, they are. Of course, there are boundaries. But we want the teams to be very effective, very quick. Otherwise, if they have to wait somebody, we didn't do anything. Okay. So if the new business redesign, the canvas that you saw, if this is like a brain, this is the business rhythm. And this is their business rhythm. Those are the meetings that they have for information flow, which is very, very important. And like you can see, all the customer-facing teams, they of course have dailies, they have retros, they have planning, they meet with clients, they have sprint reviews, and we have, on the monthly basis, we have town halls, which are very important for raising transparency and talking about P&Ls, and we have lessons learned on a company level. What did we screw up? What can we do better next time? As we heard before from Chris, failure is okay, just don't be quiet about it. Share it, learn it. Meetings. How many of you enjoy long meetings? Raise up. Yay! Yeah. Of course, this is a symptom of a not working organization, having a lot of pointless meetings that cost a lot of money. So what we did is we said, okay, some meetings, of course, are eliminated because we have the new business rhythm and the new structure, and we don't need so much meetings, you know, because Jaka knows something and then I know something and I have to tell Jake something. So no more this. But some meetings are essential. You know, they're a marketing agency. They have to be creative. They need brainstormings. Okay, but not in a meeting style. We facilitate them. We don't talk in our brainstorming sessions. We use Post-it notes. We write. So a lot of design thinking here. And for other type of meetings, we said, let's make a checkup. So a checklist. When do we really need a meeting? So we eliminated a lot of meetings that are actually not necessary, and Gen Z loves it because they hate meetings, like we all do. Then we have the decision making. This is something that me and Jaka see a lot, because people say, okay, so agile, self-management, whatever, you're now a team, you decide everything. It doesn't work like that. That's not agile, that's not self-management. That is anarchy and chaos. You have to teach people about decision making. But first, of course, you have to be transparent about all information, because I can't make a good decision if I don't know all the information. So we talk here about different decision-making processes. They experiment with them, because when you put people in a team, first that we want to be polite, and we want consensus. Okay, for the first time, okay. But then they learn that making decisions in a consensus style is really not good. It takes a lot of time, nobody's really happy with the decision, and the decision is crap. So we say, okay, let's try with advice-seeking process or consent. Just test it and try it. And they see that they're faster, that actually they don't hurt each other's feelings, and that they work as a team. And of course, the P&Ls. So making finances transparent in Slovenia as a company is like no chance. We don't do that. You know, nobody cares about it. Or if company does that, make financials transparent, they do it like that. All the 50 Excel files about our finances are on the intranet. That's not transparent. You have to make the P&L very understandable. They have to know what the profits are, how much the salaries cost, how much running a company costs. This is not something that people learn in school. You have to teach them. Why is that important? Here, all of the customer-facing teams, the Ninjas, the ASAP team, the Inspo team, they now own their own P&Ls. They distribute a reward based on that if they're profitable as a team or not. They employ new people based on their P&L, if they're profitable or not. So educating them in this process about finances, about how to manage P&L, how you can upsell a client, how you can make new deal. That's something that takes a lot of time, but it's worth it, believe me. And then, of course, the major change. We had a designer that says, I don't want to talk to clients. I became a designer because I don't like people. I don't want to talk to clients. Ta-da, sorry. You have to talk to clients. Because if I talk to client about design, we will have like 15 meetings because I don't understand you, the client doesn't understand you, waste of time. And then gradually he warmed up. And now the planning, so meeting with the new client, looks like this. The whole team meets with the client. They talk about wishes, goals, expectations, budget. And of course, wishes are always bigger than budget. So we have to prioritize together what's really important for that client and what can we really deliver. Because if I don't do landing pages, how can I know? That's why I have my teammate who has a role in that does that and knows that and can say, look, I'm sorry, but for this kind of budget, we can't provide what you want. And it's okay, it's a partnership. And of course, the Kanban, the dailies. Here, I know that you know everybody about it. What we notice is that when we start from the beginning, they're like, no, I just do social media managing. I won't do anything more. But when we help them become a team, not a group of individuals, when we help them with team dynamics, with psychological safety, with the goal, because their goal is happy client, that they, of course, make profit from, and they see that somebody is struggling in a team, somebody's overwhelmed, and they as a team won't make it a deadline, then it's easier to come and say, look, Nina, I see that you're struggling. You have a lot here, a lot in progress. What can I do maybe? So here, competence rise. They go horizontal. I don't do just design anymore. Maybe I do a social media posting because somebody else is busy. And that's the magic. And of course, the team dynamics. We work a lot with them because, like I said before, you can't just put a group of individuals together and say, you're a team now, make autonomous and good decisions and be profitable. You have to guide them through the dysfunctions. You have to guide them building psychological safety. They don't have a team lead. They are all responsible for their roles. So we use different approaches in order to build them into psychological safety on a challenging mode. And of course, we talk about feedbacks and conflicts a lot, and we educate them about. And then we have one of the support teams that we're very proud of, because don't forget, those are Gen Zs, and those are marketing people. They're not psychologists, they're not HR, they don't know anything about it. And they decided that they want to do things differently. So when a team decides that they want a new member, that they have money for, of course, that they can employ, they don't say, okay, we need a new social media manager, because we don't do titles. We do a job design for every single new employee, which means that it's okay if I come and say, I know that I'm good at posting, I don't know, on LinkedIn, but I'm sick of it. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to go into, I don't know, AI or TikTok. And it's okay. We will find somebody who will replace me, and I can have time to develop more. So making job design for every single role. And those new people fit inside a team like a glove, like a puzzle, actually. And they bring value like in 4 days, not a month. And this is their onboarding process, that they continuously improve. They look at their data set, they have feedback sessions with all the new employees, and they say, okay, what did you miss? Did you remember your first day? Because they want to make memories on the first day. And they really try hard to make a new person welcome. And in a crisis situation, you know what happens? We usually succumb to old ways of working, because this is something we are used to it. The school system is like that. Hierarchy is like that. And here they had a crisis situation. And of course, there was like, oh, we need management to decide. But the leadership said, no, we will be transparent about the financial situation that started. And they told them that if the projections will be like this for a couple of months, that somebody will have to go, but the team will decide who will have to go. They won't fire anybody because the leadership doesn't know who does what in a team. They just are on a strategy level. And it's really, really magical to see when all of the employees of the company stick together and avert the crisis like in 14 days. And we're not talking about 20K below zero, a lot more. And they showed us that they are adults, even though if they're Gen Z, and that they're capable of amazing decisions. Okay, so where to start? Diagnostic. I know you heard before, but before you do any change in any company, really get to know them. What their reward system is, salaries, how the decision-making is made, how the hierarchy is perceived, communication channels, influencers, psychological safety, everything, because you have to see where are the first pain points that employees have, and you have to start there. Then you have transparency. Very, very early on, if the company does not have transparent information about finances, start immediately. Town halls, P&Ls, educating people, educating them on decision-making processes, and feedback. Because what we see is that most companies, they don't have a culture of feedback. And we need feedback because this is the only thing that we can learn, through feedback. And here we recommend, for example, learning about a couple of different techniques about feedback. We like to learn about brain-friendly feedback, but not just giving feedback, receiving it. Active listening, like you heard before, very, very important, because feedback is a two-way street. It shouldn't happen just, you know, hey, can I give you feedback, and then I say something and go away. It should supposed to be a conversation, not just I give you something and I go away. And then we always try with, you know, something fun, a pilot. So we talk with leadership or with employees, what would be something that they would like to change and that it's related to a customer, to a client. And we say, okay, this is now the first project that we have. Who wants to volunteer? You heard about intrinsic motivation before, but we usually say this will be the first Agile team and we have top performance in a bunch. This won't work. You need average people who wants to try something new, who are motivated by something new. You put them in a team, not the top performance who don't have to change. They're already the best. Why would they want to change? And then with this new established transition team, talk about role-based leadership. You heard from Jaka before, talk about roles, what it comes with the role, what kind of responsibilities, what kind of tasks, and who wants to own a certain role. Because management of a company is not something that's just CEO level. Everybody has to contribute it. And of course, be consistent. Change doesn't happen overnight, but every day matters. So to end, don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, but the race is only with yourself. And this couldn't be true for any Agile organization. It doesn't matter what your competition did. It doesn't matter what Burzok, VC, Hire are doing. What matters the most is that you test, that you adapt, that you try, and that you find your own way of organization. Because the organizational canvas that you saw before, that's not the same anymore. They adapted. They have a new segment of a client. They have new teams. And being adaptable and resilient to change in this time where we are now, this is something that nobody can steal or copy from you. Thanks.